Well, good evening. It's News 360 coming to you live from the News Hub here at Adesawe Kanda. I am Portia Gabo.
And I am Martin Asiedu Date. These are the headlines for the next 1 hour.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
Minority NPP insists that the High Court decision cannot strip the office of the Special Prosecutor of its powers to prosecute, urging President Mahama to declare his position.
And also coming up tonight, Accra High Court adjourns case against former NPA CEO Mustafa Abdul Hamid pending OSP stay of execution application ruling decision.
Later in the bulletin, the meeting between members of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, in the Madina Denta Bokobi area and local authorities over attack on teacher end inconclusively.
Coming up in business news, Ghana's public debt drops sharply to 45.3% of GDP despite modest rise in domestic borrowing as city strength and fiscal discipline cuts external debt burden.
On the international front, South Africa's police chief formally charged in connection with controversial health contract. We are live on 3news.com. We are also streaming on Facebook and on YouTube. So let us know what you make of the stories we have for you tonight.
The news now in detail, and a coalition of 12 civil society organizations has moved to intervene at Ghana's Supreme Court following a series of legal developments concerning the independence of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. They warn that a High Court order on how the OSP can exercise its prosecutorial powers could unravel 2 decades of anti-corruption progress and provide accused individuals with a ready means of escape. Deborah Abba-Mensah has more.
The CSOs firmly dispute the constitutional argument being advanced by the Attorney General in the Supreme Court proceedings. The CSOs argue that the OSP's prosecution powers were lawfully derived from Article 88.4 of Ghana's 1992 Constitution, the same constitutional provision that has long permitted the AG to delegate prosecution powers to various other agencies and institutions. They maintain that for years, corruption prosecutions in Ghana often followed political transitions, targeting officials of previous administrations rather than addressing wrongdoing consistently. Treating the OSP's exercise of those delegated powers as unconstitutional, they contend, would be inconsistent with decades of established practice across the public prosecutorial landscape.
An attorney general that is politically appointed is always in a conflict of interest situation, because if you have to prosecute your cabinet colleagues or you have to prosecute your members of your party, it's harder. This is not the only statute that seeks to confer prosecutorial powers on other people outside of the AG. And, if you make that argument, then it means that even in the future, if an AG comes and says they want to delegate their power, and Article 88.4 is very clear, you have to do it in accordance with law. You are saying that they cannot do it through a statute.
Every action of the government must lead to the strengthening of the independence of the OSP and not the reverse. If the reverse happens, then we are weakening the OSP. And whenever you weaken the OSP, you actually weaken Ghana's fight against corruption.
Beyond their legal intervention, the coalition has set out clear demands that Ghana use the ongoing constitutional review process to fully entrench the role of an independent public prosecutor in the Constitution.
If we were even worried about legality issues, we have the constitutional review process to resolve it. So what's the hurry? What's the rush? So we are clear in our minds that There's nothing unconstitutional about it. What, of course, we had all agreed was that when a constitutional review process came around, we will elevate the OSP to a constitutional body, which we believe the constitutional review proposals have also been made.
With the Supreme Court here to rule and the AG's office having already moved to assume control of the OSP's docket, the CSO say the longer the uncertainty persists, the greater the risk that ongoing cases are irreparably compromised.
The disruption can be extremely terrible. You can just imagine if people had reached out to the AG that they were prepared to even do plea bargaining or make a confession. Now they've been given a way out through these actions. So I think it does not inure to the benefit of the public in any way.
Still on the same subject matter, the minority in Parliament has asked President John Dramani Mahama to publicly declare his position on the office of the Special Prosecutor, stating that his earlier praise of the OSP appears to be mere deception in light of what they describe as ongoing attempts to undermine the office. The NPP members maintain that the recent High Court ruling cannot take away the prosecutorial powers of the OSP unless upheld by the Supreme Court.
From 3rd December 2025 to 15th April 2026, the minority says it has observed a chronology of events which, in its view, point in one direction, that the government and its assigns intend to abolish the office of the Special Prosecutor, OSP. The High Court ruling may have worsened matters, but the minority insists the OSP Act remains valid and in force.
A High Court cannot, through any procedural vehicle, quo warranto or otherwise, effectively nullify the provisions of an Act of Parliament on constitutional grounds. This would amount to judicial rascality if this were to persist. Act 959 remains valid, in force, and unrepealed. The Supreme Court has not spoken.
Deputy Ranking Member on the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee, Al-Hassan Tampuli, is questioning what he describes as a double standard by President Mahama.
President Mahama himself, in December, was publicly praising the OSP. We call it settings. It's part of the settings. You are praising something in public, and behind the scene, you are seeking to uproot it. The AG filed submissions at the Supreme Court siding substantially with the plaintiff. And this is one situation where the defendant and the plaintiff are the same. And in musical parlance, we say, I and my shorty are one.
The minority wants the president to clarify his stance in the wake of the ongoing debate and is also calling on the Attorney General to answer some questions.
And we call on the OSP to immediately appeal the decision of the High Court and immediately also apply for a stay of execution at the High Court. And we dare also add that he must also proceed to the Supreme Court with a writ of certiorari to quash the decision of the High Court. The Attorney General must be summoned before Parliament to account for his position. We call on President Mahama to come clean with Ghanaians. He cannot continue to claim publicly that he supports the OSP while his own Attorney General argues for its constitutional destruction at the High Court and the Supreme Court.
In more news tonight, the Accra High Court has adjourned the hearing of the case against the former National Petroleum Authority CEO, Dr. Mustafa Abdul Hamid, and 7 others. The adjournment is pending determination of a stay of execution application filed by lawyers of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, challenging orders barring their prosecutorial powers. Lord Edward Cyrus reports.
When the case was called on Tuesday, April 21, lawyers for Dr. Mustafa Abdul Hamid, led by Joseph Pemka, objected to the authority of the Office of the Special Prosecutor to continue with the case, citing another High Court decision declaring that the OSP could not prosecute without prior authorization from the Attorney General. He argued that although the decision may not be binding on the present court, it remains binding on the OSP unless and until it is set aside by a competent appellate court. Lawyer Pemka added that the OSP cannot therefore properly appear before any court without such authorization, arguing that the office must be regarded as persona non grata. However, prosecutors from the OSP led by Principal Prosecutor Adelaide Kobiri Wood opposed the argument. She noted that the office had filed a notice of appeal and subsequently an application for a stay of execution of the High Court ruling. After listening to the submissions, Presiding Judge Francis Achibonga adjourned proceedings pending the determination of the applications before the Court of Appeal to May 26 for continuation.
If the appeal fails, it means that everything that they have done, right from investigation to prosecution, collapses. You know, we have the poison tree principle. Okay, so if you cannot build something on nothing. So if they do not have capacity to prosecute, it means every process that they have filed in this case collapses.
Lord Idwasari, TV3 News, Accra.
More news tonight. A meeting between members of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, in the Madina, Adenta, Bokobi area and local authorities has ended inconclusively. The teachers on Monday declared an indefinite strike beginning Tuesday, April 21, following an attack on a member. A teacher, Abdullah Mohammed, was attacked by a former student of the same school where he teaches. Let's speak to Christian Yao Edinkra, who is the district chairman of the Madina Adenta Abokobi branch of the Ghana National Association of Teachers. Christian, thank you so much for your time. We understand that your meeting with authorities today ended inconclusively. What exactly are your demands and what will make you return to the classroom?
Osha, thank you. I want to salute all teachers in Ghana, for that matter, teachers within the Greater Accra region, and those teachers who are committed to ensuring that our students are taught well and prepared for the future. And therefore, by extension, I mean Better Presby JHS located within the Adenta municipality. Portia, we do not need anything. If you look at the Labor Act 651, 2003, there was a clear demand placed on the employer and the employee. And for that matter, if you look at the Labor Act, the duties of employers, specifically Section 9, subsection C, that talks about the employer will take all practical steps to ensure that the worker is free from risk of personal injury or damage to his or her health. I repeat, his or her health during and in the course of the worker's employment or while lawfully on the employer's premises. Look, on the 13th, what happened? If that teacher, Abdullah, were to lose his life, we do not know any replacement thereof. I cannot fathom that the students we teach can go or have the balls or have the authority supported by parents, supported by community, will come and beat our teachers. Teachers who teach you, teachers who give you knowledge, teachers who prepare you for the future. Our demand is that the police should get the people arrested and arraigned before court.
All right.
And thankfully, we have the support of our region to ensure that by Thursday, our ultimatum is that Thursday, if these individuals who went to commit this violation of the teacher's rights, they are not arrested and arraigned before court, when we get there, we will know the next step. In the interim, we met them. We appreciate the intervention of our regional director. We appreciate the intervention of our district director of education. But please, today, we couldn't conclude because with all the assurances the police gave us, we realized one thing, that the community where the school is located is not safe. It's not safe for our teachers to go back. If they go back, The next, we don't know what will happen for us to be wearing black or red.
Christian, is there likely to be another meeting before Thursday?
If there is another meeting, we are all ready. Look, the children, we have BEC starts on the 4th of May. It is not our desire for our teachers to remain home. Not at all. Because but if that be the case, we are waiting for the meeting.
All right. Christian, thank you so much for your time. And Christian Yawedinkra is District Chairman of Madina Adenta Abokubi branch of the Ghana National Association of Teachers.
Lawyers of the New Patriotic Party's Ashanti Regional Chairman Benedict Triboisiakon, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi, have been left in a dilemma after the Court of Appeal dismissed a second attempt to halt the case against their client at the High Court. Wontumi, who is facing charges of assigning mineral rights for mining on his concession and facilitating illegal mining operations, has been ordered by the High Court to open his defense after the prosecution established a prima facie against him. Lord Edwasare reports from the court.
At the Court of Appeal on Tuesday, Andy Apiakubi, lead counsel for Chairman Wontumi, moved an application to stay proceedings in the case against his client at the High Court. He argued that the ruling of the High Court judge was prejudicial and posed a risk of an unfair trial if the case is not halted pending the determination of the challenge at the Court of Appeal. However, Deputy Attorney General Dr. Justice Sremsai opposed the application, noting that the defense had the mandate to demonstrate exceptional circumstances for the grant of the stay. After listening to both counsel, the three-member panel of justices indicated that they are taking notes of the pending interlocutory appeal against the High Court decision, ordering the NPP chairman to open his defense. They, however, added that the defense had not been able to demonstrate exceptional circumstances for the grant of the stay application and accordingly refused the application. Andy Apiakubi expressed disappointment at the court's decision.
We'll have to go back to the chamber and look at the options, and then we'll let you know which line of action we'll take. For now, like I said, we are open to two lines of action. One is to go up to the Supreme Court, and the other is to go down to the High Court to continue the proceedings.
Wontumi's case is expected to resume on May 7 as the court proceeds with the case management conference at the High Court. Lord Idwasari, TV3 News, Accra.
Let's now go to the Ashanti region, where Day 2 of the Public Accounts Committee sitting in Kumasi has uncovered a series of financial infractions, with several metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies facing intense scrutiny over irregularities flagged in the 2024 Auditor General's report. Ibrahim Abubakar has more.
The committee examined a range of breaches, including the payment of unearned salaries, revenue collection shortfalls, and the failure by some assemblies to issue receipts for purchases. Members also raised concerns about the misuse of funds allocated to persons with disabilities. Some assemblies, including Banda, were cited for diverting these funds into administrative expenses, contrary to laid down guidelines.
The auditors are saying that Banda also took funds illegally from the people with disability accounts. You took 20,000 Ghana cedis, and as a result of that, you were not able to carry out activities for the stated category of beneficiaries. You promised them you were going to pay. You paid 5,000 Ghana cedis, and you still have 15,000 Ghana cedis to pay. As part of the audit, you promised them that you would pay by the first quarter of 2025. I don't think you will even be happy that the district took money from people with disability funds accounts. Moving forward, I don't think you should take monies from people with disability fund accounts for administrative purposes, denying the beneficiaries the use of their monies on time.
In one instance, the Sunyani West District Assembly was directed to refund some monies to the District Assembly Common Fund within 30 days. The amount, according to the coordinating director, had been taken from the Common Fund to pay ex gratia to immediate past Assembly members.
What are you doing to make sure you clear this 135? Now that you say that it's a management decision, or you felt that let me sit and not do anything about it, and it should come to Public Accounts Committee and then they come and deal with it, only for you to also come and misrepresent yourself. All I want is a reimbursement of the difference. When is it going to be done?
Honorable Chair, I had a discussion with two lands. We also get small IGF from there. I've spoken with them and we are going to use that one to repay the amount.
Respectfully, today is 21st of April. Within 30 days, we want the monies paid.
In several cases, the revenue collectors were found to be earning more than double the amount they generated, raising serious concerns about inefficiency and possible leakages. The committee has therefore recommended the engagement of more commission-based revenue collectors to improve revenue performance and strengthen accountability at the local level. The Public Accounts Committee is expected to continue its sitting as it works to enforce financial discipline across public institutions. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Kumasi.
The national chairman of the governing National Democratic Congress, Johnson Esiedun Ketia, has called on party members who are yet to receive political appointments to remain calm and committed to the party's long-term vision. Addressing concerns about the growing discontent among sections of the party in Lambusie as part of his thank you tour, Esiedun Ketia acknowledged that not all members who contributed to the party's success will immediately benefit from appointments or positions.
And when President Mahama suggested that he will reduce the number of ministers from 125 to 60, we were all clapping, including all of you. So if we are sharing 120 ministers and you didn't get, when we reduce it to 60, what is your chance of getting? I beg you, those who have not had appointments, those who feel disappointed in politics, you may join politics, your benefit will not come at the same time that others will have their benefit. Some of you will not have any benefit from joining NDC, but your children may come and benefit greatly from the party. There are others who get their benefit today, but in future, their children will not get any benefit. There are others whose benefits are greater than those who are benefiting now. But if they don't have time to wait, and they are saying that because I am not the one who has been put there, let me do everything to undermine the one who is there. Please, you will be destroying the party, and you will be destroying all of us.
Tension is mounting on the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources to terminate the mining contract awarded to Heath Goldfields to operate the Bogoso Prestia mines. Employees of the company, led by their counsel, Martin Pebu, addressing journalists in Accra, accused Heath Goldfields of contractual breaches, including lacking the financial capacity to manage the mines. A report by Stanley D. Blue.
The Bogoso Prestia mine was awarded to Heath Goldfields Limited through a competitive tender process on December 13, 2024. Per the terms of the agreement, Heath Goldfields Limited was expected to inject a total of $500 million into the company over a 5-year period, while fulfilling additional obligations, including the settlement of employees' entitlements within 7 days of taking over the mines. The company was also required to install crushers and $2 million worth of water pumps to drain accumulated underground water from the shafts. These measures were scheduled to be executed within phase 1 of the contract period, spanning 2025, but the group insists those obligations have been breached. Addressing journalists, Counsel for the Employees Martin Kpebu said that out of the $150 million expected to be injected in the first phase, only $23.7 million has been made available.
Once the $150 million has not been sunk, it means that we are seriously in the realm of what? A breach. And look, to be clear, we are very reasonable people. If they had sunk in $100 million by this time, no, you wouldn't have seen me here. I don't do that. I understand businesses face challenge, etc. I wouldn't have been here with them. But where we are 23.7 million, which is even far short of the 50 million that was required to have been released in December 2024.
He added that disclosures made by Heath Goldfields prior to the award of the contracts were fraught with inconsistencies and called on the government to terminate the agreement.
For the sake of the Prestia Union Valley communities, national revenue, and the integrity of Ghana's mining sector, we respectfully urge the Honorable Minister to exercise his powers under Section 68 of the Minerals and Mining Act 2006 Act 703, to terminate Heath Goldfields mining leases without further delay and initiate a transparent process for a genuinely capable investor.
As pressure mounts on the government to act, the fate of the Bogoso Prestia mines and the livelihoods tied to them hangs in the balance. Stanley Niblew, TV3 News, Accra.
We have business news coming up shortly. Do stay with us.
It was meant to protect them. Now every journey begins with doubt.
Me sure Fred, bon let him Bradfred in way. Let him be let. Ah, me just stand here.
What for na fe e gbe me din se din bile po anaku lo lo 2 months ni ba ko
Teshi Landing Bay airs on Wednesday, April 22 on TV3 and all our digital media platforms at 9 p.m.
It was meant to protect them. Now every journey begins with doubt.
Me sure Fred, bon let him Bradfred in way. Let him be let. Ah, me just stand here.
What for na fe e gbe me din se din bile po anaku lo 2 months ni ba ko
Teshi Landing Bay airs on Wednesday, April 22 on TV3 and all our digital media platforms at 9 p.m.
By a stronger cedi, reduced borrowing costs and improved fiscal discipline, even as government increased short-term domestic borrowing to build financial buffers. This is despite a rise in domestic borrowing. There's more in this report.
Ghana's public debt stock declined sharply to 640.99 billion cedis, representing 45.3% of GDP at end December 2025, down from 726.7 billion cedis or 61.8% of GDP recorded in 2024. According to the March 2026 Monetary Policy Report by the Bank of Ghana, the improvement was driven by cedi appreciation, increased amortization, and tighter fiscal discipline. Domestic debt, however, rose from 309.8 billion cedis to 333.8 billion cedis, largely due to increased issuance of short-term instruments as government builds buffers to meet its obligations. External debt increased in foreign currency terms on the back of new disbursements, but in local currency terms, it declined significantly from 416.8 billion cedis to 307.2 billion cedis, reflecting exchange rate gains and principal repayments on Eurobonds and multilateral loans. The central bank says the overall decline in the debt stock also reflects prudent borrowing, reduced financing costs, and a stronger primary surplus.
The Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company has disclosed that nearly 30% of gas cylinders presented for refurbishment under the cylinder recirculation model are not fit for use. Management cautions that the continued use of these faulty cylinders in homes poses significant risks to lives and property. Speaking to journalists after a tour of the facility by members of Parliament's Energy Committee, the Managing Director of the Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company, Abdul Rahman Makir, urged the National Petroleum Authority to ensure the full nationwide rollout of the policy to strengthen safety measures.
It has helped in bringing out cylinders that are not good from people's home to rust for refurbishment, and we continue to encourage full participation, and also we plead to them if they are able to expand it to other regions. Currently it is being run in Accra, Kumasi and Tema, and so if it is expanded to other regions, I mean, it is going to help a lot, especially in terms of keeping our cylinder safe. Very soon we are going to partner with NPA to do full-scale public education on the cylinder recirculation model. So when you look at the cylinders that come here for the refurbishment, they usually come in batches. Sometimes they come and about 30% of them that come are not good and they are not safe to go back into the market. And so if not because of the cylinder recirculation model, we will still have those cylinders sitting in people's homes, and that is jeopardizing safety.
Let's find out how the Ghana cedi is performing on the forex market and find out how other commodities are also performing on the international market. That's it for business on News 360. Stay with us. Sports is next.
It was meant to protect them. Now every journey begins with doubt.
Me sure afraid. Bon let him Bradford in way. Lele mbilete. Ah, me just stand here.
Wa fo na fe e de me din se din bile po anakulo lulu 2 months ne ba ko
Teshi Landing Bay airs on Wednesday, April 22 on TV3 and all our digital media platforms at 9 p.m.
It was meant to protect them. Now every journey begins with doubt.
Me sure afraid. Bon let him Bradford in way. Lele mbilete. Ah, me just stand here.
Wa fo na fe e de me din se din bile po anakulo lulu 2 months ne ba ko
Teshi Landing Bay airs on Wednesday, April 22 on TV3 and all our digital media platforms at 9 p.m.
To 4 groups of 4, with the opening ceremony and first game scheduled to take place on Wednesday, April 22. The final will also be played on Saturday, April 25, 2026 at the Sipon Stadium. Let's take a look at just the itinerary for the week when it comes to the Milo Under 13. And so that's what to expect. On Tuesday, the teams arrived, screening took place, and then there was a coaches and soccer clinic. Tomorrow, that's Wednesday 22nd, is the opening ceremony and the group stages do begin. Thursday is the group stage / quarterfinals of the competition. On Friday, the quarterfinals continues, and then the semifinals. On Saturday, we will see the third place match, and the final to crown the champions on Sunday is the departure. And so let's just quickly go through the groups for the Milo Under 13. There's the Duyayao Inquanta Presby B Basic, and then there's Kintampo Presby. There's Old Woroto MA Primary School, Yaligu EA Primary School in Group A. And then Group B, there's Denchem Mwase RC Primary School, Swame Methodist C Primary B School, Bethel Methodist Primary School, Emisa Chrome MA Primary School. Group C sees Wenchi Methodist Primary School, Vume RC Primary School, Kwabenya Atomic MA Basic School, Gambaga Presby Primary School. And then the final group sees in Koko Salvation Army Primary School, Methodist Experimental Primary, St. Kizitos RC Primary School, and Buza MA Primary School. So all throughout this week, we'll be bringing you updates from the Sipon Stadium as the Milo Under 13 games goes on. So do stay tuned on the various sports segments and sports shows on TV3, as well as our social media handles at 3 Sports GH. But before we go, let's just take a look at the World Cup minute for today. Remember, we're just 51 days away from the biggest World Cup in North America later this year. The biggest World Cup ever deserves the biggest stage. In 2026, the FIFA World Cup will be played across 3 countries, the United States, Mexico, and Canada, in a historic first. The United States leads the way with 11 host cities featuring iconic venues like the MetLife Stadium in New York, Sophie Stadium in Los Angeles, and AT&T Stadium in Dallas. In Mexico, football history runs deep, with matches set for the legendary Estadio Azteca Stadium in Mexico City, alongside Guadalajara and Monterrey. Canada joins the party with games in Toronto and Vancouver, bringing World Cup action to new fans and new stages. In total, 16 cities and over 100 matches will create a continental festival of football like never before. 1 tournament, 3 nations, where stadium will host history.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kel Chocolate toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, we spend several hours under the scorching sun. To keep our teeth white and our breath fresh all the time,
It was meant to protect them. Now every journey begins with doubt.
Me sure Fred, bon let mon Bradfred in Louis. Lele imbilete. Ah, me just stand here.
What for na fe the meeting din bile po anaku lo lo 2 months ni ba ko
Teshi Landing Bay airs on Wednesday, April 22 on TV3 and all our digital media platforms at 9 p.m.
It was meant to protect them. Now every journey begins with doubt.
Me sure Fred, bon let him Bradfred in way. Lele mbilete. Ah, me just stand here.
What for na fe the meeting din bile po anaku lo 2 months ni ba ko
Teshi Landing Bay airs on Wednesday, April 22 on TV3 and all our digital media platforms at 9 p.m.
It was meant to protect them. Now every journey begins with doubt.
Me sure Fred, bon let him Bradfred in
the fake one. Then they give you a similar one with a different name and tell you it works the same, but it is not so.
Me just stand here.
What for na fe the meeting din bile po anaku lo 2 months ni ba ko
Teshi Landing Bay airs on Wednesday, April 22 on TV3 and all our digital media platforms at 9 p.m.
It was meant to protect them. Now every journey begins with doubt.
Me sure Fred, bon let him Bradfred in way. Lele mbilete. Ah, me just stand here.
What for na fe the meeting din bile po anaku lo 2 months ni ba ko
Teshi Landing Bay airs on Wednesday, April 22 on TV3 and all our digital media platforms at 9 p.m.
It was meant to protect them. Now every journey begins with doubt.
Bold expectations, expressing strong confidence in clinching all 3 awards she has been nominated for. Now, she says she's hopeful her efforts and the impact of her music will be rewarded on the night. At the heart of PACS's optimism is her hit song Nyamie, which has earned a nomination in the highly competitive Most Popular Song of the Year category. The song goes up against major hits from top-tier acts including Kiddy, featuring Olive the Boy and Kojo Black with Gymnastic, Black Sharif Sacrifice, Medical featuring Shatawale and B-Strap KOTM on Shoulder, as well as entries from Last Mid, Molly and King Paluta. Beyond that, PACS star is also in contention for the Gospel Artist of the Year, where she faces stiff competition from established names such as Diana Hamilton, MOG Music, Kofi Owusu-Pepra, Mabel Ochre, and Nanaya Oforiata. Her standout single, Nyamie, has also secured a third nomination in the Best Traditional Gospel Song of the Year category. In that race, she competes with songs from Joyce Blessing featuring King Paluta, Mabel Ochre, Kofi Owusu-Pepra, alongside Diana Hamilton, Celestine Donko featuring Diana Hamilton, and Paul Eniche. Despite a depth of competition across all three categories, PACA Esther remains resolute. The gospel singer believes the impact, reach, and spiritual resonance of Nyamie positions her strongly to sweep the awards on the night. With strong belief and growing support behind her, PACA Esther is aiming for a big night that could see her win all three awards at the Telecel Ghana Music Awards.
As long as I'm nominated, that it means that I'm qualified to win. So three of them, Most Popular Song, Gospel Artist of the Year, Best Traditional Song of the Year.
Well, I hope you're voting for your favorite to win the categories at the Telecel Ghana Music Awards. Now to some more stories. Celebrated visual artist Ibrahim Mahama has been awarded a 2026 Arnold Bold Prize by the City of Castle in recognition of his contribution to contemporary art and socially engaged practice. The award, announced by his gallery, White Cube, carries a cash prize of £10,000 and places Mahama among a select group of artists shaping global artistic discourse. Based in Tamale, Mahama is known for large installations exploring themes of labor, migration, and global trade systems. His signature use of stitch-jute sacks has become a defining feature of his work, often transforming buildings and public spaces. Well, that's it for the entertainment news segment here on News360. My name is Noella Donko.
On the international front, South Africa's police chief has been formally charged with failing in his duties to provide proper oversight in his role following a health contract that has become the subject of a criminal investigation. General Fanny Masemula, 62, was summoned to court over his alleged part in awarding of a controversial $21 million tender, which has since been cancelled. He's been charged violating part of South Africa's Public Finance Management Act, which governs how public finances are managed. The case comes amid a national inquiry examining allegedly widespread corruption involving police officers and politicians. Masemola told journalists after the hearing that he denied the charges.
It's always a pleasure when you stay and watch News360 and get updated on what's happening in Ghana and around the world. That's it for this evening's edition. My name is Martin Asiedu Date.
And I am Portia Gabodu. Join Beatrice Edu at 9 p.m. for Agenda. Good evening.
In the Republic verse, every handshake unlocks opportunities. We recognize your need is unique, which is why we support you to succeed.